In the 50s, women were doing all of the budgeting for their home while it was their husband's paycheck that was bringing in the money. And there wasn't even online banking at that time. So you literally had to write every aspect in detail down. Those household ledgers acted as a roadmap for financial stability. Planning for the future was key, whether it was saving for their child's education, a home appliance, or an unexpected medical bill. Women made sure that a portion of the household income was set aside for all this. A well managed ledger was actually a sign of a competent homemaker. Women took a lot of pride in being able to organize the income so that they could make life comfortable for themselves and their family. It was way more than just bookkeeping, it was a testament to their skill and dedication. Back then, it was actually an essential part of class for these young girls to be taught these lessons that prepared them for their future roles as homemakers. It helped reinforce the importance of financial management, frugality, and household efficiency. So, students were taught how to create a monthly budget, allocate expenses, and even practice balancing a checkbook. Teachers emphasized the importance of avoiding debt, planning for emergencies, and making wise financial decisions. Many schools actually used real-world scenarios to teach these students how to manage a limited household income, and girls learned how to stretch a dollar, plan meals within a budget, and even prioritize necessary expenses over luxuries. The only reason I made this book was to replace the index card I make with each new paycheck. Thankfully, this gave me so much more. It actually gave me clarity, understanding, and the confidence to look at options to create a gap between my income and my bills. And hopefully, it can do the same for you. When creating your ledger, you can use whatever notebook you want. I just felt this had a little more of a retro feel. You can also go with a more simple design or get a little more creative like I did. I always use pencil and eraser first because even though I had a concept of what I wanted the page to look like, I still allow a level of creativity to flow, and I don't know the exact end result that it's going to create. As you can see, I used what I had access to in the apartment in order to create these shapes because the stencils I do have are in the storage unit right now. As you can see, the design I'm using is heavily inspired by the Googie shapes of the 1950s and 1960s. I also stuck with primary colors. I wanted to keep the design basic so that there would be plenty of space to write everything in, still be organized, and still be quirky and fun so that I'm inspired every time I look at it.
And being completely transparent about our finances. We're currently paying for two different places because we moved from the south back up here. I just want to let you know why it's so important to do this ledger. When I was in the south, I actually did keep track more so of our finances. We didn't overspend. What I've learned from it is you have to stay consistent with your habits. It gives you a lot more understanding of where money's going, what's happening with it. I've also noticed because we can't jump up and go other places like we want to, we end up spending money in other ways. Right now, going out is not really an option. What happens is we end up spending money on food that's more accessible, but the thing is, it adds up really fast. We don't go out to restaurants, but we were getting takeout a lot. So then we got takeout less and we started buying ready-made food at the grocery store. And we weren't really cooking because I closed the store down that I work at and I get home and I don't want to cook. We're still spending a lot because we're not grocery shopping. And then because we got our tax return, we ended up spending over $1,000 on food, not even realizing it because we're running around, working, getting settled up here. Actually, doing this video has really helped me because no matter how experienced you are in something, no matter how far along you are in life, you can still fall off the wagon, but that's okay. Happens to all of us. Things happen in life. It's completely normal. You just get back on when you can. So, what are my goals? My first goals are to get rid of all of this, hopefully by next month, which is April. I'd like to lower storage unit bill. It was $200, but it went up to $270 because our deal was over, and this was storing our entire home from the south. We're gonna have to downsize. We want to lower this, remove this. We want to lower our cell phone bill, lower car insurance, lower our rent and our electric and our internet won't budge. All right. This, I already told you, we spent over $1,000 from our tax return buying food. We had made repairs on our home in the south and we had to pay that money back. So that's where most of our tax return went. $3.50 a month. Food is really affordable here. It's more affordable here than the south. I'm gonna write goals up here. My goals is to remove all of this by... Okay, we have to have time to lower storage May. We already lowered the car in the midst of making this video because I stopped recording because I got so overwhelmed by the bills. I knew it was gonna be more to live up here. In the interim of transition, I did not know it was gonna be so much more. We're going to be lowering this bill because I had to buy a new phone right before we moved because my phone stopped working. Let me know how you feel about this, if there's more about this you'd like to do. One of my long-term goals is 6 months expenses saved in case of emergency. We're not even close to that right now. And this takes a bit of time. So there's 2 ways to solve this, which I'll talk about more in another video. So that's one of my goals. We had to dip into my daughter's account for her phone because her phone also stopped working. A lot happened right before we moved. My husband's computer broke, our phone stopped working, so not only did we have to make major repairs on our home, we had to replace expensive electronics. That was fun. We don't even have a TV right now, we use a projector. That's okay. You do what you have to in the meantime. I understand what you see here is a lot of money going out, and some people would wish to be making this kind of money. I just want to make an announcement that this is our situation currently. There is transition moving with income from my husband, and I am working to increase my income. I'm going to be increasing my investment in my daughter's education and her extracurricular activities during the week so that when she's looking into colleges and looking into furthering her education, she has more options. I've got to start investing in her future, so this money's going to end up going into her education. I need some time to reflect. Keep me posted if this helped you at all, and we can work together on making goals and working towards taking more control over our spending and our saving. This is nice because it brought a lot of realizations. Let me know your goals.